The mood was defiant as thousands of indigenous protesters, angry over increased fuel prices, filled this cultural centre in Ecuador's capital. After another night of anti-government protests directed at President Lenin Moreno, leaders said the strike would continue.
It's up to the president to repeal the decree to lift the strike. If he doesn't, the strike continues.
We want to make clear that we have never made any agreement with the national government.
The demonstrators detained at least 8 uniformed police officers who they forced on stage before the crowd. The stance of the indigenous movement has toughened even further after clashes on Wednesday night left more casualties. Here in this theatre, indigenous leaders say there will be no negotiation with the government, and some are even calling for Lenin Moreno, the president of Ecuador, to step down. It has been the worst unrest Ecuador has seen in a decade, which began when the government lifted fuel subsidies, causing prices to spike overnight. Ecuador's government wants dialogue, but will not negotiate under the threat of violence and vandalism, according to Foreign Minister José Valencia.
This is an extremely critical situation, which is not a decision of the indigenous leaders. We trust in their word. We believe, and we have evidence, that this is a result of calls by opposition leaders to use violence, to take control of public institutions and roads, and to attack the forces of order with violence.
He told CGTN foreigners, including Venezuelans, had been arrested, adding the cost from lost oil revenue and other damages could run into the tens of millions of dollars. The government says more than 700 people have been detained and some 80 police officers injured as a result of the clashes.
The police had followed strict protocols of action, which have been in place for years and were drawn up under international norms.
He said the United Nations and the Catholic Church was backing peaceful dialogue with some indigenous and trade union groups. Meanwhile, Peru and Chile are standing by President Moreno as he faces the worst crisis since he took office in 2017. Dan Collyns, CGTN, Quito.